Okay, everybody. I apologize for the delay, but good morning. I hope all is well. I'm glad to see you all here. I see lots of friends in the audience, and we're here for a very important occasion. This is a time that we're celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. My name is Akil Kafani. I'm the director of the Africana Institute and the director. Thank you. I'm also the director of the Center for Global Education and Experiences and a professor of sociology and African studies. So we're excited that we have the opportunity to travel and go and step outside of our comfort zones and help us to think and do things in a broad way. What we're here to do today is that we're going to be striving to give some insights about the ideas of Martin Luther King Jr., his works, but not just Martin Luther King Jr. We are striving to really cover all of the different things that people have been doing beyond just what Martin Luther King Jr. did in his time that he spent in struggle here, because it wasn't just about Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to talk about how that Martin Luther King Jr.'s efforts really were tantamount to the works and the ideas of the thousands and thousands of people, really millions of people in the United States and around the world who want to push for a greater idea of equality and transform the world in which we live. But for right now, what we're going to do is I'm going to invite Dr. Boachi, who is the president of Essex County College, to the stage, and then we're going to move to the next step on the program. So without further ado, can you please give a warm welcome for Dr. Augustine Boachi. And we're a couple minutes behind, so we're all going to try to keep our comments brief, but we're going to be powerful. Dr. Boachi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to see everybody here this morning. It's a great day, and on behalf of our students, our faculty, our staff, our board of trustees, and everyone here, all the community members, our high schoolers, and everybody here, I want to welcome you to Essex County College on this great day as we remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let's give each one of you a big round of applause because you have made this day a beautiful day. I also want to thank Dr. Akil Kafani and his team for what they have done. To put such a program together is always tedious, but you need that level of dedication to get this happen. So thank you very much, Dr. Kafani. Today, we gather to remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose sacrifices predicted a vision of what our world can be. Dr. King focused on peaceful coexistence, equality, and justice. As we meet this morning, let us remember Dr. King's reflection on education. Dr. King reminded us that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Here at Essex County College, our mission is to provide access that leads to success. Our many delegations that we have here are going to witness the many degree and certificate programs that are tailored to help students think critically while giving them the skills to become successful in life. Today, I'm honored to especially welcome all the leaders across the globe, the Consul Generals from South Africa, from Senegal, from Algeria, from Angola, from Liberia, from Morocco, from Nigeria, and from Egypt. I can say that we are so blessed to have the whole world leaders here today, because you are the true representatives of what the world is looking to see. So as we gather to celebrate this special event, I wish each one of you the best. And not only today, but throughout the year, let's promote what will bring peace and justice among us, in our homes, in our societies, in our countries, and in the world. God bless you.
As we move forward with a program like this, one of the things that we have to make sure that we do is that we, typically what I'll do, I do have water, so what I'm going to do is we're going to get some more water for some of the CGs, but we're going to pour just a little bit of libations. Is that all right with everybody? Yes. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to pour real quick. We're not going to do the formal libations, but we pour libations as a remembrance for those who came before us. So watch your step when you come up here for the choir, but we just pour a couple of drops of water on the ground. We pour libations for all those ancestors who made today possible. Martin Luther King Jr., Ashe. For all those who struggled and didn't make it with Martin Luther King Jr., we say Ashe. For those who struggled with Martin Luther King Jr. and saw past what he was doing and went to the next step and continued to fight until this very day, we say Ashe. And for all of those, your family members, say your family members' names, the ones who passed, say their name, call them out. We say Ashe. And for all those who struggle coming from Middle Passage, making it here, right here today, that we're here because of their sacrifices, we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Yes, indeed. You know, we have to uplift the ancestors to make sure that they know that we love them, that we understand the sacrifices that they went through. And part of that process is that when we begin a program like this, there's two things we do. One is that we sing, lift every voice and sing. So we're going to sing, since we're short on time, we're going to sing one stanza of that. But also, we want to ask one of our eldest persons in the audience, do we have permission to formally begin? Do we have permission again? Any elders in the audience? I know it's supposed to be an elder here somewhere. Someone over 60 years old. Okay, there you go. Someone over, anybody over 70 in here? Okay, do we have permission to begin? All right, we have a couple 70-year-olds in here, so there we go. So we're formally opened the program, and so we're going to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I ask that everybody please stand. And you all are welcome to join in and participate.
The words are on the back of your program. The words are on the back of your program. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Ashe, Ashe. All right. So now we have a brilliant young man who is going to come to the stage. I'm going to say a couple of remarks, but I want him to come to the stage first. And he's going to, you're going to hear Dr. Martin Luther King today. Is that all right? I said we're going to hear Dr. Martin Luther King today. Is that all right? Okay, good. So let us all welcome to the, he's a young man, 11-year-old. So I think we should give him a rounding applause as he comes to the stage. Mr. Ikenna Obikulu, please come up to the stage.
How's everybody doing today? I don't think I hear that. How's everybody doing today? Yeah. First of all, I would just like to thank God, because without him, I wouldn't be here today. Second, I would like to thank my mother, because she shows me her continuous love throughout my journey. And without her, I also wouldn't be here today. Today, I will be reciting the I Have a Dream speech by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Are you guys ready? Yes. I don't think I hear that. I said, are you guys ready? Yes. All right. I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so, we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signed a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It will be fatal for the nation to overlook in the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end but a beginning. And those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of a vote will continue to shake the foundation of our nation until the bright days of justice emerge. But there are some that I must say to my people who stand on the worn threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high planes of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy, which has engulfed the Negro community, must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidence of their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. They have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their adulthood and are robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I'm not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from jail cells. And some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith. The unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping in the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we'll be able to hew out the mountains of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So, let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiding Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. When we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring, from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we'll be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Now, I know y'all can do better than that. Let's give this man a round of applause, right? Sixth grade. And just in case anybody's confused, there is no speech up here. So when I grow up, I want to be able to speak too, huh? I want to thank all the professors who brought their classes. That it's important that we recognize that the whole intent of this event is for us to uplift the ideas of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and to make sure that we're getting folks to understand that we have the power to change the world, that we have the responsibility of changing the world, and that responsibility was left to us by great folks like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., by folks like Fannie Lou Hamer, by folks like Malcolm X, by Cesar Chavez, all these folks who worked hard to bring about change, right? We have the African Consul Generals here. The first country that got free after independence was Ghana, 1957, right? So that whole movement, that energy, that synergy was happening then. And if we think about that synergy then I want us to think about the synergy today. I want us to think about what is it that we're willing and able to do to bring about change today, right? We have all these young folks from high schools. We have some folks from Newark High Schools is here as well. All the folks who are here, who are young. Remember, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated when he was only, was it 38? 39. So when you think about it, the majority of the work that he did, he was a young man. So you all have the ability to impact the world as young folks and to make sure that, we don't spend too much time on our phones, spend too much time on our games, spend too much time hanging out. We want to spend time thinking and changing the world, realizing that we have the power to do something different only if we take the initiative. If we don't take the initiative, it won't happen. If we sit on our laurels, the things that have been happening that we don't like, the things that have been oppressing people, the things that have been impacting people in negative ways, that folks don't have food, that folks don't have shelter, homelessness is increasing exponentially around the country. What are you willing to do tomorrow that you didn't do today? What are you willing to do to set the foundation for something different? But you have to do more than sit on your laurels. You have to do more than tweet out something that you want change. You have to be willing to sacrifice something. Derek Bell said to us, he was a great attorney. He wrote on critical race theory. He's one of the pioneers of critical race theory. And Derek Bell said to us, he said, how do I maintain my integrity while seeking success? And what he challenged us is that you've got to have passion. What makes you get up in the morning? What makes you get out and do the things that you do? He challenged us. He says that you've got to have courage. You got to have humility. You got to be willing to take risks. And in the end, he said that success is not individual, it's collective. And until we realize that it's not about how much money you personally have in your pocket, until we realize that it's not how many cars and houses that you have, or things that you have, or even money in your account, it's about the impact that you have on the world. So let's be impactful. So this beginning that we have here today with all these consul generals, with all these African countries, is an opportunity for us to understand that we are going to do some things great and that this is a beginning. And so that I'm honored that I was invited to come to the meeting with the consul generals in the African Union headquarters in New York. And in there I talked about the fact that I don't want this to be a one-time off. That I want this to be something that we're doing and that we're pushing the envelope on how we're going to do what we're going to do. And so I encourage you all to think about the ways that you can do those things and the way that we're going to collectively do that. So we're going to have a song by the choir, and then we're going to have all the consul generals come up to the stage, and we're going to begin to have them to discuss with us some ideas that they have. So let's invite the choir up one more time. Let's give them a round of applause, please. We have, you can see in the program, they're gonna sing Wade in the Water. This is the Essex County College Choir. Professor Dr. Dexter Allgood is the director of the music program here, and Gwen Moten is the choir director. So let's give them all a round of applause and enjoy their offering.
We're here to share the word resistance, the word that kept us going through so much, the enslaved until today, the songs that allowed us to go through those hard times were songs that were known as Negro spirituals, black spirituals, Jubilee singer songs. And these spirituals often had coded messages. The texts were taken from the Bible, but the intent was about freedom. Steal away. I'm going to ride the chariot in the morning. Swing low, sweet chariot. Wade in the water is about resistance. If you think of the word wade, resistance against some kind of medium. So Harriet Tubman would say, as she carried the enslaved to freedom, just wade in the water. Fight against that resistance so that the slave people, hunters, would not find us. Wade. And Dr. King waded constantly in resistance against Jim Crow, segregation, all the evils of humanity in this country, and apartheid. Wade, resistance.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. He looks like the band from the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. I say, wade the water. Oh, in the water. Oh, wade. You know that God's gonna trouble. Oh, yes, He is. See that band, oh, dressed in red. I said, God's gonna trouble. Oh, yeah. The water. He looks like the band that Moses led. Come on, say, God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. You know that God's gonna trouble. Oh, yes, He is. One more. See that band all dressed in white. I said, God's gonna trouble. Oh, yeah. The water. Oh, it looks like the band from the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, way in the water. Way in the water. In the water. Oh, way in the water. You know that God's gonna trouble the water. There's healing in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. The deliverance in the water, y'all. God's gonna trouble. Oh, yes, He is. The water. God bless you.
Let's give another round of applause for the ECC Choir, everybody. Yes, indeed. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to, while they're setting that up, I just want to let you know that we also have an art exhibition that is a partnership between the Africana Institute and the the Consul Generals, the African Consul Generals group of New York. So we want to thank them. Let's give them a round of applause for first of all, being a partner with us. I believe with the South African Consul General, him and I have been talking about this, I believe since March of last year when he was here to speak. So the first thing I want to do is I want to invite up my dear colleague, Consul General from South Africa, Dr. Motumsi Tawana. Let's have him please join us on the stage. Consul General of South Africa is also the chair of the group, so we're honored that he's here to join us. We're going to ask all the Consul Generals to have a seat on the dais. Thank you. Next, we have the co-chair, and that is the Consul General of Senegal, Ambassador El Haji Abdou Nzo. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Next, we have our colleague from Algeria, Ambassador Brahim Shinoff. Our councilwoman from Algeria from Angola was not able to join us, but we have the Deputy Consul General, I believe, from Angola. Yes? Yes, sir. Deputy Consul General from Angola. Let's give them a round of applause. Please join us on stage. Our colleague from Liberia, Councilman Nathaniel Nagbe. Did we get the councilman from Liberia? Yes? Oh, okay. Your deputy? Deputy Consul General is going to join us since councilman from Liberia is not here. Let's give her a round of applause, please. From Morocco, we have Consul General Abdelkader Jamosi. From Nigeria, we have Ambassador Lot Egjo Ijia. And last but not least, from Egypt, we have Deputy Consul General Mohammed El Lawani. Oh, he's not here. No, there's no reference. Okay, sorry, Deputy Consul was not able to make it. So we have an illustrious group with us here today, and this is, as I said, this has been a long time in coming, and so we want to provide each of them with a brief amount of time. We know that we were a little delayed, so we want each of them to be able to say some words to you all, and to bring greetings, but I want to just spend this time to say thank you to all of them. When we leave here, there's an art exhibition that's both in the Africana Institute and in the hallway. It's called African Beauty. These folks are the contributors to that, so let's give them a round of applause for that they did. So we're very thankful. And without further ado, I want to open up by inviting the Consul General from South Africa to give his remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalfani. Good morning, everybody. As Dr. Kalfani has indicated, I'm the Consul General of South Africa and the chair of the African Consul General Group. As he has correctly stated, since around March last year, following my visit to this illustrious community college, whereby we had a day reflecting on the values and the contributions by Nkrumah and Marcus Garvey. We had a discussion about broadening the scope of engagement with the community college and ensuring that the African Consul General group that is here with us is part of an integral process to ensure that there is practical expression in terms of African unity, people of African descent working together, and the community becoming an integral part of our activities, because as consuls or consulates, we cannot be an island in Washington, in New York City. We need to reach out to ourselves as communities. So that is the context within which we are having this event. But let me also indicate and acknowledge the presence of the Essex County College President, Dr. Augustine Buache. We thank you so much and the university for hosting us. And you have in Dr. Kalfani a very talented, a very capable and able man who's committed to our continent. And we are really inspired that you have such illustrious leaders within your team here at the Essex County Community College. And I also like to greet my fellow African Consuls General who are here today, who are part of the team that is in front, and then the management and staff of Essex County College. I would also like to pay tribute once more to Dr. Kalfani for ensuring that this event happened by hook or crook, that it happened, and that we get to meet today and to reflect on the legacy of Martin Luther King. And I would also like to greet students and members of the public that have made the time to come and be with us today to honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. So on behalf of the African Consul General Group, I convey our sincerest gratitude to Dr. Kalfani, as I've indicated, who is the Associate Professor of Sociology and the Director of the Africana Institute, for doing all the great work that has resulted in today's event. We are here to also honor, as the primary purpose, to honor the memory of Martin Luther King, who would have turned 93 years of age today had he still been alive if his life was not brutally cut short about 54 years ago. And we were honored and privileged to have the young man who brought Dr. King back to life. I hope I'll pronounce your name and last name properly. Ikenna Obikulu. We thank you so much. You are the man. Please, a round of applause. Thank you so much. And then because we've run out of time, we started a bit late. I will not go through the entire speech, but I will indicate among the attributes of Dr. Martin Luther King, the commitment to social justice, visionary and inspirational leadership that he showed and taught us, his selflessness and courage. Dr. Martin Luther King taught us, the rest of the world, these virtues and many more: the importance of nonviolence, the importance of peace, the importance of unity, the importance of working together to ensure that we have a better world and a better life. So, as I indicated also, this is an important community outreach activity, and as President Augustine has indicated, Buache, it should not be the beginning and the end. This is the beginning of the start. As the African Consul General Group and as consulates based in New York, we are committed to coming here every time, every year, to be part of this community, to be part of, to ensure that we reach out to the community in this area of New Jersey. So this is our second home, and please feel free to call on us anytime you need us. Consulates are here to serve all the people, especially people that have an interest and connections to the African continent. So we are here to serve you, to work with you, and for the betterment of our continent and people. And this activity also brings consulates to you and has made at least 8 consulates mobile. They've left Washington, they've left New York City to come here, these consulates, to be part of this activity, to reach out to yourselves as communities. These are the things that Martin Luther King would have wanted as he moved from one state to another, from one city to another, talking to people in this country, talking to their conscience, talking about peace, freedom, justice, and liberty. So consulates also have a role to reach out to communities to ensure that you get to understand what they are about. So we have made our consulates mobile by bringing them here today. After the end of this program, we will be available in various breakaway rooms to tell you more about what we do as consulates, what opportunities are there for collaboration, to visit the continent, to visit the various countries on the African continent, to share with you the beautiful story, the good story that Africa has to tell despite the challenges following political independence which was cemented when the OAU was formed, the Organization of African Unity was formed on the 25th of May 1963, which spoke to the political independence of the 54 countries on the African continent. We also are keenly seeking to ensure that we realize economic freedom. Hence, in 2020, we had the launch or the conversion of the OAU into the African Unity, into the AU. The AU being an organization that focuses, in addition to political freedom, to economic freedom. Our primary interest as consulates is to ensure that this economic freedom is realized, that trade between Africa and the US and the rest of the world increases, that Africa contributes more than the current 2% to total global trade, that the over 1 billion Africans become well off, are better off today than they were in the past. So in a nutshell, those are the points that I wanted to deliver about why we are here, the importance of working with yourselves, the importance of ensuring that as a university, as a community, as consulates, we need to work together to ensure that the dream that Martin Luther King is realized. The dream is far from realized. It's in our hands to make sure that we realize to ensure that we realize what he spoke about, and to also quote one of the statements that he made, which is to say, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. So we need to be that generation that ensures that we achieve greatness. We achieve what Martin Luther King dreamt of. We achieve what Nelson Mandela dreamt of, what Nkrumah dreamt of, and the many illustrious African leaders who wanted to ensure that the African continent and the African people of African descent all over the world are free at last, and free at last. Thanks God Almighty. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's get, I want to, as we're moving through the process, I want to just say to you all that this is we're going to have a few students who will probably get ready to walk out because some of the classes are getting ready to transition. But we know we have a good group with us here, and we're going to make sure we cover the issues. We want to, this event is in part is being recorded, so we're also going to be documenting this for the long haul. So this is an important occasion. And as we move forward with the next presenter, I'd like to invite the Consul General from Senegal up to give some remarks. I'm just going to ask that, since we're running a little behind schedule, that we try to keep it brief And I want to thank our two vice presidents for Essex County College, Mohammed Siddiqui and Alvin Williams, who are here. Thank you for joining us. Both of them.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Galfani. Good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, Dr. Galfani. Thank you very much for convening this great event. I'd like to thank Dr. Augustine Boyke, who's the president of the Essex County College. It's a pleasure and an honor for us to be here and to have the opportunity on this momentous occasion to exchange with this beautiful group of people. The staff, the faculty, and all the students who have welcomed us here, we are grateful and we thank you very much for having us. Not going to be very long because my colleague from South Africa was very expensive in terms of speaking on our behalf and saying many great things about what this event is about and what is really behind the collaboration between our group and the Essex County College. But I think as we speak and we commemorate the legacy of Dr. King, I think it'd be useful to just reflect and as we represent our countries, just to think back and kind of explain while this struggle for civil rights was going on. Few years before that, Africans were fighting for their own self-determination. So now that we have achieved that, and now that the rights that Dr. King was fighting for, as we said, the dream is not achieved yet because there's more to be done. There's more fights to be fought. But as we've advanced to this point and to this level, I think it's timely as we look at each other and we look around and we see our similarities and we see our resemblance. It is time to reflect on what we can do together, what we can achieve at this point to honor the legacy of those great people. Dr. King fought for rights. We mentioned Kwame Nkrumah and all those great independence fighters back in Africa. Leopold Sedar Senghor, who's the first president of Senegal, was one of them also. But what we can learn, I think, today is, in terms of cultural exchanges, for instance, what can we do? So this is just the beginning of a conversation, I think. There is a host of things we can do to bring about economic collaboration, to bring about exchanges in terms of academia. This is a great institution, and many great institutions are back in Africa. What can we do to make sure that students from this great school can have exchanges with students in our schools? What can we do to make sure that the values that we all share, that we all represent, can be even strengthened through collaboration and exchange? I think that's what we can learn today. That's what we should really focus on. We've learned through the speech that our great friend just made here, the I Have a Dream speech. Congratulations for rendering such a great speech of Dr. King. But the values that came out, that come out of that speech, I think bring out the courage of Dr. King, his vision, but also his determination. And those are values that we need to really reflect on and see how us, as youth, as students, as parents, as how we can stand by and stand for those values. So I think that's what I learned from the great speech and what I wanted to share in terms of thoughts that I wanted to express on behalf of Senegal. And thank you very much again, Dr. Kalfani, for having us.
And just so that you know, Ambassador, that you're about my height. I might have to come raid your college, your closet. I like that piece you're wearing. Okay, so I just want to take a moment to thank some other folks who are here. Dr. Chris, who is a former executive at the medical hospital here in Newark. If you could just wave your hand, we want to thank her for joining us here. She's been doing some powerful stuff in the city of Newark and in the state of New Jersey. So, and I've heard her give some great speeches for Dr. King, so we appreciate your presence. We also have our friend Busi Matsiko, who's here, and we'll thank her. She's been doing some great things, and we're glad that she's here. I believe, in fact, she's on the board of Berkeley College, yes? She's a board member for Berkeley College, so we're glad to have her here as well. We got some other folks we're going to recognize as we go through the program, but right now I'd like to invite up our next guest. We're going to have the ambassador from Algeria to come and give us a few words. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Both of them.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Kalfani. Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of my colleagues, members of the African Consul General Group, I would like to thank the organizers, Essex Community College, Dr. Kalfani from the Africana Institute, for having invited us to this annual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. Our participation is also a first step in a partnership with Essex Community College and Africana Institute that we hope to establish, involving our national students at the college, as well as the members of our respective communities. Martin Luther King Memorial is an opportunity for us to pay a vibrant tribute to this great personality who changed the world through words and peaceful struggle. Talking about Dr. Luther King's long-lasting legacy brings us back to this leader who sets an example of courage, dedication, and sacrifice for all. His philosophy was inspired by the non-violent work of Mahatma Gandhi to end the British rule in India. In turn, Dr. King inspired others to transform their societies through non-violent means. Because of the work of Dr. King, the standard has been set for all nations to treat everyone equally, regardless of skin color. In the United States, he helped bring about the passage of Civil Rights Act of '64 and the Voting Rights Acts of '65. On the international level, he contributed to the promotion and protection of the human rights consolidated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other human rights instruments. King's speeches and writings allow us to continue learning from his beliefs and practices today, and the challenge is to secure that his struggle for justice and peace could continue. And since the event we are celebrating honors the contribution of African Americans in the struggle for freedoms, we cannot, as a representative of Africa, fail to pay tribute to this great continent that gave birth to a generation of men and women with an incredible greatness of spirit and foresight, who have forever marked the history of a continent which has suffered for several centuries of its existence from slavery, colonialism, and racial segregation. Africa today owes eternal respect and consideration to Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Oliver Tambo, Simon Joma, Miriam Makeba, Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, Jamila Buharir, Samuel Machel, and others. Inspired by its revolutionary past against French colonialism, my country, which has always stood alongside peoples fighting for their freedom, appreciates at its value, its true value, the fight led by these African icons. By attributing the name of Nelson Mandela to a soccer stadium inaugurated last week on the occasion of the African Championship of Local Players taking place in Algeria, my country wanted that the greatness of this symbol of resistance and one of the most committed leaders of his time will remain engraved forever. Thank you for your kind attention.
Before we go on, I just want to, I heard a couple of cell phones. If you please can all mute your phones, I would appreciate it. A couple more folks who, as we're moving along, I want to just welcome here. Want to welcome our friends, Prince Adekoye, who's here. We want to thank you for joining us here today. We want to thank our brother Marcos, who's from Angola, who is doing a beautiful job with the organization called the American Schools of Angola, and he's contributing to our art exhibition. Their program is, and we went to Angola with them in their program, and their program is doing such an amazing job. In fact, there's two New Jersey, Newark folks who are in Angola right now. Marcos, could you please raise your hand? He is one of the a person we've actually taken the next step, and we're looking to build something with them in Angola, and so we're looking to step out and do the same things with other places. We're working working all the details together, but we're grateful that he is here and that we're able to get the artwork from a great program. And if we have a little more time, I'll talk about it, but we're running a little behind, so I don't want to take too much time right now. Also, we have John Smith from the local Newark NAACP. John, I think he just walked out the door. Oh, no, here he is right there. John Smith from the NAACP. Thank him for joining us. And we have CG staff in the building. So can you raise your hands, the different staff from, I think, in Nigeria, Senegal, Algeria, South Africa. Where's South Africa? Morocco. Morocco's up top. Okay, so we have staff from different Consul General offices who are here with us. So they're not here alone. They're rolled deep, and we're excited for that. So the next we're going to have our colleague from Morocco. If you could join us on, please.
Good afternoon. I'm sure everybody has watched the excellent performance of the Moroccan soccer in the So I would like first to thank Mr. Karfani and Essex County College for this exemplar memorial for one of the African and Afro-American icons, Martin Luther King. My contribution is to show how Martin Luther King has been and still a bridge between the United States of America and Morocco, and of course, Africa. I will shed light on some aspects of this connection, that Martin Luther King is still representing in this long relationship between the United States of America and the Kingdom of Morocco, being the first country to recognize the independence of the United States in 1777. So Martin Luther King is an outstanding man who have marked history and inspired the American society and the international community. Already in 2013, a ceremony to pay tribute to the leader of the Afro-American civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, was organized at the Rabat Court of Cassation with the attendance of several Moroccan and US figures from the legal sphere, with the participation of over 130 US magistrates and lawyers. The US Attorney Frida Davis said that thanks to the fight of Martin Luther King, African American lawyers and judges are participating their profession and are here in Morocco to share their experience with Moroccan counterparts to forge ahead with the process of justice undertaken in Morocco. In 2015, the late King Mohammed V of Morocco was posthumously honored by the Institute for World Jewish Studies in New York with the Reverend Martin Luther King and Rabbi Abraham Heschel Freedom Award for protecting his country's 250,000 Jews during World War II. King Mohammed VI said in a message on the occasion of the award ceremony held in New York, I quote, "It is in memory of these two icons of the civil rights movement in the United States that you have decided to name the Freedom Award you have just created as its first recipient. You have chosen to honor tonight and for eternity His late Majesty King Mohammed V, the revered hero, not only to all Moroccans, but also to all peoples yearning for freedom and dignity." On January 2021, the Moroccan American Network hosted the 6th Moroccan Day in Washington. The panels dedicated the opening event of Morocco Day to both Martin Luther King and the American civil rights icon, and to the 16th century Moroccan explorer of North America, Mustafa Azmouri, named Esteban, who is considered the first Afro-American in the United States of America. On January 2020, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that inspired volunteerism, the Moroccan High Atlas Foundation celebrated its tree planting day. The president highlights the meaning of the event, saying, "On Martin Luther King Day, we call into action the volunteer spirit of our staff, engaging small teams to travel all across Morocco to plant trees in rural villages in multiple provinces simultaneously. We embrace the activism spirit of Dr. King and call upon others to do the same, to plant 1 million trees." To conclude, I would say that honoring Martin Luther King's legacy, we are honoring the quest of the humanity for a peaceful and just world of coexistence, tolerance, and brotherhood. Thank you.
One more round of applause, please. Now, we had my brother's name, who I messed up, so I want to get it right this time. Ambassador Egopija. So we've met several times. He's been at several events that we've been at together and doing great work. I appreciate that. I believe we first met. There was a great sister who I've been working with for a long time. Her name is Moni Lola. If you could just give a quick wave, say hello to everybody. She's been doing great work in the community. She works with lots of organizations, and we appreciate that. I believe that's when I got introduced to the CG from Nigeria. So we want to just be sure that we take this time to recognize that if you listen carefully to the things that they've been saying, I want to reiterate what the Consul General from South Africa said, and that is that you all will have time after this to actually meet with them. We're going to have breakout rooms, and so if you want to travel to one of the countries, if you want to, or if you have a visa issue, you usually have to go to New York, make an appointment, and go through the process, but you have them here firsthand, so they're at your disposal. Maybe I'm opening the door, maybe then it is, but we're going to keep pushing through the door. Ambassador from Nigeria, please join us on the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Kafani. Let me begin by thanking Ikenna for that beautiful rendition. Yeah. You see?
One second before you go, Consul General.
Yeah.
I just want to, let's give West Orange High School a round of applause, and let's thank them for coming. They have to leave now. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate their teachers for bringing them here. Thank you very much.
Let me begin by thanking the organizers of this program, the president of this college, and Dr. Kafani for smoking out Ikenna to render this speech that we are often reminded of the fact that together we stand to do good for the generality of our nations. I consider it a great honor to be invited to this auspicious occasion to mark the annual memorial program in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a civil rights hero whose vision, courage, and resilience undoubtedly engendered positive changes, not only in the United States of America, but also in the world at large. Dr. King was a charismatic leader whose fight for social justice, freedom, and equality led to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. To many Americans, he was a role model and an idol whose ideology was built on love and use of nonviolence as a means to an end. To Africans, he was a beacon of hope, whose quest for equality inspired the liberation of decolonization struggle. It could be said that Dr. King inadvertently laid the ideological foundation for Nigeria's material and financial contribution to the fight against apartheid in Southern Africa, which was a major part of our foreign policy objectives. Permit me to quote Chapter 2, Section 19 of the 1979 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which states, "The state shall promote African unity as well as total political, economic, social, and cultural liberation of Africa, and all other forms of international cooperation conducive to the consolidation of universal peace and mutual respect and friendship among all peoples and states, and shall combat racial discrimination in all its manifestations. While this was an ambitious objective, considering that Nigeria had only gained its independence in 1960, in reality, Dr. King's dream had become our dream, and his struggle, our struggle. Decades after Dr. King's assassination in Memphis, Tennessee, we still struggle to fill the vacuum created by his untimely exit. Until we cannot by any means explicitly and implicitly claim to have achieved his dream, we must acknowledge that the world has taken several steps in the right direction. We must always come together as one race, the human race, to condemn inequality, injustice, and hate speech wherever it rears its ugly head around the world. We must promote non-violence, peace, unity, love, equal rights, and accessibility to education. We must continue to place more emphasis on the things that unite us while striving to better understand the issues that divide us. We do not need to be constantly reminded of the derivative consequences of letting hate and violence take control of our mind and guide our nation and actions. For we all in this hall knows what happens when we let hate triumph over love. In conclusion, I must thank the African Institute of Essex College, particularly Dr. Kafani, and other key actors, players, and particularly everyone present here for putting together this annual program and honoring the values of Dr. King, Jr., whose legacy are firmly written in the indelible sand of history. It is therefore my sincere wish that as we reflect on his enormous contributions, we will continue to uphold and build on his principles, ensuring that justice in its true form, it's not just a dream, but a reality to all. Let me thank you all for listening.
Thank you again. So you see, we have a powerhouse full of folks who are thoughtful about what it is that they're doing. And so as we are moving through, I want to take this time to recognize Sister Iya, who is been working for, I guess, 28 years this year? She has been working on developing the Carnival for Jersey City for 28 years. And Iya Sherrill is a powerhouse in Jersey City, and we're honored to have her here today. Let's give her a round of applause. My sister Roxanne, who has been working very tirelessly in Ocean County, correct? Ocean County, doing work down there. She heads a religious organization. She's also been doing a lot of other things. So let's give her a round of applause for joining us here today. I know we have a host of other folks. I probably missed some people in the process, and charge it to my memory and not to my heart. But we still have a few more moments. I want to thank Mr. Simon Ibe, who is in the back, who's a brilliant journalist. He's been doing stuff. He's covering things that we're doing and been powerful in his regard. And we have our Dean of Student Affairs, Keith Kirkland, who's here. Let's give Keith a round of applause. And we have another Dean of Continuing Ed, Dean Elvie. If you could give her a round of applause, she's also here. So we had a group of students who just came in. Where did you guys come from? What class are you all in? All the students who just came in. What school or what class are you from? Biology. So let's give a biology professor a round of applause. Because oftentimes, we want to make sure that the point is that, sometimes we think this is just something for social science and liberal arts students. But in reality, these programs are made for all the students, and we need to come together to make sure that we get our students to think about these types of things, because when you're thinking about biology and math and chemistry and the sciences, that many of those things happen because of the things that other folks have done to make it possible. Right, many of the struggles that African Americans went through to create things created possibilities for folks, and that many of the recent migrants from Africa and from the islands, that they are here today, that you are here today because of the struggles of a Martin Luther King Jr. Right, we have to think about those kinds of things, because if we don't put that in context, we don't understand that if you go back and look in the 50s and 60s. What was the migration like from the continent and from the islands then, right? There wasn't much migration. There was a few folks, but not like today, right? And today, the possibility happens because somebody died. Today, the possibilities happen because somebody lost their house, because a few folks was lynched, because of lots of different things like that made it possible for this day to happen, made it possible for me to be a professor. And so then all those struggles are the things that we must think about as we play a foundation, develop a foundation for the next iteration. So with that being said, I want to also bring today, we also have two of our Deputy Consul Generals who are going to come and bring greetings. First we have Consul General, Deputy Consul General from Egypt, I'm sorry, not from Egypt, from Liberia, who's going to bring brief greetings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kim Kofa, and I'm the Deputy Consul General from Liberia in New York. I would like to bring you greetings from my Consul General, Honorable Nathaniel W. Nangwe Sr., who's the Consul General and the entire staff of the Liberian Consulate in New York. I would also like to say thank you for having us here today. It's such an honor to be invited to this kind of exchange. Ikenna, I want to say thank you, hats off to you for such a stunning rendition of Dr. King's speech. When I was your age, I actually read the speech, and I know most kids your age basically focus on the part where Dr. King Dr. King says, "I have a dream." And most kids start from there and learn the rest. And we don't focus on the other parts. So it's such an amazing thing to see somebody of your age actually understand the entire speech of Dr. King. So we'd like to say hats off to you again. Thank you so much. Like the Consul General from South Africa said, we are wholeheartedly happy to be here and to work along with everybody in this room, to work along with the Essex County College. This is a cultural exchange, and most students or most young people nowadays are more focused on Africa, and that's a good thing, because they get to know that Africa is not a country, it's a continent. There's a there is diversity on the continent. There are a lot of things that you could learn. I was on the internet the other day. A student asked one of his friends to name 5 countries in Africa. And most of his friends could only name South Africa and Nigeria. So exchanges like these are great. We can all learn from each other. We can all learn about our continent. We can learn about each other countries. So once again, I want to say thank you for having us, and we look forward to meeting with you after here and to exchange ideas and learn from each other again. Thank you.
Okay. Now we are going to have, as we are moving through our process here, we're going to have I got a chance to meet, as a matter of fact, the Consul General from Angola came to campus in November, and we got a chance to meet with her, and she walked around campus, and we had a chance to talk. But unfortunately, she's not able to be here today, so we'll keep her in our prayers. And so we're going to have the Deputy Consul General to join us and bring greetings on behalf of Angola.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not going to deliver a speech. I'm just here to say that Angola is also make part of the African Consular Group, and to say that my country always joined for good causes. And I want to thank also Mr. Agostinho, who is working with the Essex College, and I think that we're going to work together also from today on, right, Mr. Agostinho? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.
Now we have the honor of the councilwoman from Newark was not able to join us, but her assistant is here joining us today. And we have a little something for each of the Consul Generals that we would like to present. But maybe you want to just say a word or two about the Consul General, about the councilwoman, just so people know who she is. And introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Come on, good evening, everyone. All right, that's a little better. Well, my name is LeVar Scott. I am the assistant, also the son of the Honorable Councilwoman at Large, Reverend Louise Scott Roundtree. She is the daughter of Madam Louise Scott, as some of you may know, who is the first black entrepreneur millionaire in the city of Newark. She cannot be here. Yes, thank you. She cannot make it. She's actually in a council meeting right now, a special council meeting down at City Hall, but she told me that I have to get my butt up on here so we can make sure that this is done, in honor of these honorable honorees today. So thank you for having us, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Okay, so we're able to honor them today. We have resolutions, if we could please stand, sir. So we have resolutions from the city of Newark, a commendation to Ambassador Tawana from South Africa. We, the members of the Newark Municipal Council, proudly take this opportunity during the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Program and the African Glory Art Exhibition by the Africana Institute and the Consul Generals Group held today on the 24th. They are commending all of them. So each one of them will receive one of these. So if we could just give that here, we'll. Yes. And wait, we're not done just yet. And we have a personal letter from the mayor of the city of Newark for them. It says, presented to the Ambassador of Tawana of South Africa as the mayor of the city of Newark. It is my pleasure to honor and congratulate you as we celebrate the Africana Institute, Essex County College Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Event. I applaud you, Ambassador Tawana, for your diligence, your devotion on the entry level, and by awesome leadership that has been and continues to provide for the people. We are also proud to acknowledge for you many congratulations that you have already made, and the continuing work that you'll do, and the strong foundation of the ethical values that you are building and will do on your journey. I know that you will continue to inspire us, and that your greatness today are on the forefront. May God continue to keep the gift that you are and will continue to be for humanity. Once again, congratulations. May this be an honorable one. Sincerely, Raz J. Baraka, Mayor of Newark. And finally, one more from the Municipal Council, Councilwoman at Large, Louise Scott Roundtree. She also presents a letter, personal letter to each of them, and it says, as the council member at large, it is my pleasure and honor to congratulate you as we celebrate the Africana Institute's Martin Luther King program. As you reach this milestone, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Ambassador, and for the ongoing service and the hard work that you do and the determination for the people surround you, for the city of Newark. We know that you will continue to be an inspiration to us all, and that your greatest days are in front of you. May God continue to bless you and continue to do the work that you do. Once again, congratulations, Reverend Louise Scott Roundtree, Council Member at Large. Okay, so we have that for each of our council people. So we can, I want to just call up the next one. Ambassador Nadu from Senegal, please. How you pronounce it? Yes. All right, Consul General Tawana. Next, we're going to have Consul General from Algeria. Consul General from Morocco. Consul General from Nigeria. Consul General is not here from Angola, but the Deputy Consul General. Deputy Consul General from Liberia. Yes, the Deputy Consul General from Egypt is not here, so we'll take that for him. So we're going to close up now, but I think we had a good program. What do you think? I said I think we had a good program. What do you think? Let's give all the Consul Generals a round of applause. We really appreciate them. You know, this is a yeoman's effort to get everybody here, and at one point in time, we have, sitting here, we have these folks who are making decisions about and making it possible for people to travel and navigate around the world, both coming from the continent and going to the continent. And so it's exciting that we're able to get them here, but it's about taking it to the next step. And it's all your work together we're going to be doing to take it to the next level. So I thank you all for joining us here. Please be sure to check out the artwork. We have rooms that are set up if you would like to see the Consul Generals. We have a brief meeting that's going to start now, and then they'll be able to see you around 1 o'clock. If you want to see them, someone at the table will have the rooms that they're going to be in. So you can check with the Africana Institute. Stop by the Africana Institute if you want to meet with the Consul Generals from a specific country. Go sign up in the Africana Institute, put your name on the list, and we'll set it up that way. So make sure you go to the Africana Institute, sign your name on the list for each country, and then we're going to send you to the room and plan to be there by 1 o'clock. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, but let's once again give them all a round of applause. And let's have this young man come up here and join us, and we're going to take a group picture with everybody.
Way in the water, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that babe all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. He looks like the babe from the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. I said